told what happened with Trump 2 years before he ran for office, when patriots in the Pentagon were seriously considering a coup against Obama because he gave all our codes to Communist China, all our personnel to Communist China in the Office of Personnel Management hack. And I was told all this and didn't know if it was true or not. And years later, even Politico halfway reported what had happened. But here's what I have to say. Trump is on a suicide mission. Now, a suicide mission doesn't mean you die every time, but you die about 30, 40% of the time. Like, you only go on a couple suicide missions. And that's what it is to be on a suicide squad. But you go on a suicide squad because you realize you're going to lose everything anyways if you don't make it. Just like the divers in Thailand with the flooded cave who've already gotten 9 of the children out, and the divers died and others, and they got to go through almost a mile of flooded cave, and they got to take kids 10, 11, 12 years old in scuba who aren't certified and take them through that hell. Think about that. That's the same thing. Trump is a suicide squad leader. That's why he's so confident. That's why he's so committed. Our code's gone. Our secrets all sold out. Our country deindustrialized. And then finally they were going to ban free speech and start arresting people. And enough folks in the government and in private sector and in the general citizenry said, we're not doing this. God almighty. We were America. We didn't believe the John Birch Society and Ron Paul and Alex Jones and Barry Goldwater and everybody else. We didn't believe them. It sounded so crazy. But we're being given orders to prepare for gun confiscation and for war against Christians and war against constitutionalists. A, we don't want to do that. B, they're armed to the damn teeth. These are millions of veterans. That's a death sentence. Those are our brothers and sisters, people we know, the folks that volunteer and give blood, the people that are at the homeless shelters. We're being trained to have war with them. So a group of generals came to Trump, as I first told you, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and now it's been confirmed, and said, this is what we're laying out. We don't know what to do. What do you think? You're popular. We know your background. We know about your dad. We know about all you funding the John Birch Society behind the scenes. What do you think we should do? And he said, let me talk to my wife. And he went and spent 3 months in Scotland and decided not to do it. And then Melania came to him on the last day and she said, she'd seen what they were doing on the news to people. And she said, you have to do it. He said, I don't want to put the family through this, but she said, you have to. And he understood the challenge. He said, yeah, I can't not do this. And we can't not do this. It's the same thing I deal with every day. But Communist China, allied with the big banks, has totally sold the country out. And they engage in every crime you can imagine, and they're trying to sabotage the economy. And the biggest frustration is looking at the average person that goes along with this anti-Americanism, and they don't realize they're opening the gates up to their sure and absolute destruction. And you look at how Communist China has abused their own people, and you just ask yourself, is this the way it needs to be? And I'm telling you, even though we think we're winning and we see good things coming back to the U.S., there's such institutional powers behind this and such an evil commitment to stop human development and human potential that I cannot lie to anybody. It's not my job here to lie to you. I think we're neck and neck. I think it's up in the air whether America and the world makes it. Well, Hillary Clinton is sending out feelers to her supporters via email. The New York Post is reporting it, considering and testing a 2020 run. Well, of course she is. Even if she doesn't run, she wants to keep getting those campaign contributions, that money, into her corrupt money laundering operation known as her foundation. So it's totally sick, and it just shows how delusional and disconnected from reality the establishment is. But if we buy into their hoax, well, then it's our fault, isn't it? We're going to start the next hour here in about 10 minutes and go to already loaded phone lines. I may even get to some during this segment, but if you just joined us, I remember back under the Clintons how they were selling out our missile secrets for our intercontinental ballistic missiles to communist China. And I remember myself and Washington Times writers and others, Drudge, you name it, were reporting on the Clintons with communist Chinese generals in the White House and all of it, and the sellout by Laurel Hughes to them with MERV technology. That's the reentry device. It's one thing to put a missile up into orbit. Another thing to get it going a trajectory over from China over the North Pole to the U.S. But it's another thing to get it to come back into the atmosphere and have the nose cone pop open and have, you know, a dozen dummy warheads and maybe a dozen other real warheads so that when they try to shoot those down, they don't get them all. That's multiple reentry device, MERV technology. So from the boost, the first stage boost, second stage boost, reentry to MERV technology, the Clintonistas gave them everything, like they gave them our jobs, our businesses, our industry, our security codes, the Panama Canal, all the major deep water ports. Hillary is a globalist operative put in there to do that. And then the media spun it. Are attacks on China anti-Asian? No, it's China under Mao that killed 84 million of their own people, according to the Chinese communists. CIA says 65 million. It's their own system that sells political dissidents organs. So when you talk about 1,500,000,000 people, genetically the same, but oppressed by the communist elite, there's not the racism there. There's the classism of the party, where there is no class, pun intended, under communism. And so they're doing all this, and the communist Chinese come out in Bloomberg and the Sunday Express. I've got the articles right here. Let's do a camera shot of that, saying we're already at war with the United States. We're already economically, you read the leaked memos that the PLA put out on purpose, and they say we've already got their industry, we've already got the rare earth minerals, 98%, we already got our military under these companies as front people in all these nations. We're ready to cut the U.S. off economically. We're ready to foment economic warfare and cultural warfare in South America, and we're ready to bring the U.S. down. And man, it's in the news that China now controls Hollywood. China has a $900 billion trade deficit with us. And Trump says a year ago, give us $50 billion. To just show you have some sign. China, you're investing $24 billion a year in us. We invest $900 billion in you. I want to see some Chinese factories in the U.S. Show me something. Over a year ago, he met with them in Mar-a-Lago. And the communist Chinese dictator, he's a dictator. He wasn't elected by the people. He said, we're going to war with you. And we've built all these artificial islands and we'll invade the South China Sea and we'll take over all these different areas right where the Japanese did. Philippines, you name it. I mean, this is crazy. And if you study geopolitical systems, everything done to America since the 70s by the policy wonks, presidents are mainly puppets, till Trump came along, has been 100% strategically to shell the United States out. Yeah, there's the Guardian, dictator for life. They have debates about whether he's a dictator. The Politburo and the Central Committee vote, a couple hundred people that are all billionaire communists. Delay that. I mean, he's beyond the name I just called him. He's a mass murderer. And he's taking China back to where Mao had it. So, you read this, U.S. and China have bigger problems than trade war, Bloomberg, and it gets into the military war. China's military reforms to win a war. But you actually read the memo I read last Friday, and it says, we're already winning. We've already encircled them. We already control their people. They're all divided. Americans are weak. So when you sit there and you see a Democrat or you see a leftist that hates flyover country or hates Christians or hates Trump, Trump could be criticized for only asking China, I hate to use a vulgar analogy, but when they work, you've got to use them. You know, Full Metal Jacket. And you've got Sergeant Hartman talking to him. And he says, you're the type of guy that'll do something to the other guy and not even give him a reach around. I mean, all Trump did was ask for a reach around. And China said, no, man, you're going to give us everything, dirtbag Americans, and you're going to get nothing back. That's Trump's like, okay, there's a 290% tariff on all dairy to Canada for 30-something years? Hundreds of billions? No. And Canada's so used to us being on our back or on our knees, they start flipping out going, we got trannies, we're for gays. And Trump goes, okay, great, I understand that. What about the 200+% tariff on dairy? And then our own media gangs up like Trump's bad. So let me explain. I go into a business deal, and you tell me you get everything, I get nothing, even though I hold all the cards. And that's the thing about Trump. He's just not anti-American, psychotically anti-American. How did we ever get an elite that did this? Because America had 55% of the wealth in 1952. Look it up. And these elites went, my God, we can parlay this into total control. But to get people to go along with it, we've got to create an anti-American ideology. We've got to get people to signal they're traitors and be anti-American so we can trust them to do this. Because, you know, you got to really be a scumbag to want to bankrupt your granddaddy that's a farmer. Or to want to hurt steel workers in Cleveland. Or to just have a raging you-know-what to screw America. But that's what the colleges and the schools, and it's just all like, you know, wow, we were so close, and we're probably like a patient that kind of rallies in surgery but still dies. I've had family, I've been there when they rally in a surgery, and actually they come back for a day and then die right after. They rally, and then they die. And I don't want to be a negative person here, but I'm not a cult member like Oprah Winfrey that's like The Secret, just be positive. I think America's rallying before its death. I'm just going to be honest. I think we're going to die. I think we're going to implode, be totally poor, and I think it's all going to be over. So I think we're evil. We've aborted 50 million babies, and the average person doesn't want it. And just God is all about justice. And I don't think we deserve Trump. I don't think we deserve to turn the country around. I don't think because here's the thing. Those of us that are self-sufficient will be okay in a total collapse. It'll be rough, but we'll make it. Most of us. But what about all the scum and all the backstabbers and all the pedophiles and all the... No, they are going to kill each other. So I'm hoping we fix things. I'm working for it, but I'm not worried one bit. Because the type of people that want to suck on Hillary Clinton's wart-covered feet culturally and want to do all this, if you guys don't want this and we tried to fix it, then have at it, man. Have what you want. Because the communist Chinese already basically run the universities. It's in the news. They run Hollywood. We're overrun. And in the 11th hour, 58th minute, we have some chance to turn it around, and the average American doesn't rally to do that. Shame on you, because that's what we're facing. I just know this, the Chi-Coms won't make it out of this, and neither will the EU or the Vatican. You're all going to go down. Oh, that's the little... Oh, I forgot the best part. I metaphysically know that America is going to go down just like you are. And so we're going to pull all of you with us, and they're going to be overthrows of the communist Chinese, and maybe that'll be a free country after this. But I know that when America goes down like the Alamo, it signifies the defeat of the Chi-Coms and the EU and the globalists and everyone else. So don't celebrate your victory too long. Don't celebrate your victory. Because from hell's gate I spit at you with my last breath. I want you to go down, you pedophile, devil-worshipping trash.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. InfoWars Life Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by InfoWars Life is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.